How do people? Just looking at this Alsace Village, and apparently it's a fictional track. I thought it wasn't a fictional track, but you know I'm wrong. Welcome back to the Infinity GT Manufacturers Series Season 6, Round 2, League 2 for the 40-minute endurance race. I've done the sprint race yesterday, that was uploaded, but this is before the sprint race itself, so we get the endurance race done and dusted. Let's see how everyone gets on. Previously it was at evening, but it was actually daytime prior to the sprint race. 40 minutes ahead of us. Compounds racing soft, racing medium. Just use the racing medium for a minimum of 3 laps out or in. That class as a 3 laps, but a few drivers, you know, they opted to do the longer stint on the racing medium and the short on the racing soft. It's not that high deg around this track for tyre wear anyway, but for this race anyway, I may put on the tyre. Well, I will put it on, so you can actually see the wear. I think it's 3 and 3 because they actually reduced it. But so with this season, with this series now, we used to have like qualification at the start of every 50-minute endurance race. But now in season 6, it's split up into a 40-minute endurance and then a sprint race, sprint qualifying to determine the next week's grid. So the guy that actually come out on top at Red Bull in a sprint qualifying is MLA, so he grabs that pole position. P1 Valium, so MLA is in the Horse Dragon Ferrari. It's just a term I used from a few seasons ago. P1 Valium in the Honda NSX. I got to mention Sparkle Sheffield as well. We are driven. It's okay not to be okay. Infinity Decals himself, Dave Robinson. James Harvin in third in the Lambo NSX, Lambo Ferrari. Another Lamborghini there in 4th. They did do well at Red Bull Ring, give them their due, but you know, all things come to an end, as they say. But anyway, let's see how they get on this evening. Sea Trickle in the Godzilla on the rear in the Nissan GTR. Sonic Racer in the Jaguar. And my teammate Nate Fletcher in the T86 GR4. These are Group 4 cars. And we do like Group 3, Group 4, Group 3, Group 4. Marshall in the Nissan GTR in 8th. Bazinga in the Aston Martin V12 Vantage in 9th. P1 Rob in the other NSX with his teammate just further up. Yeah, myself did have a great qualifying session in 11th. Gwyn in the Jaguar. Rick in the Ferrari. McDaddy in the Aston Martin. DMK Martin in the Merc. And then we've got Duz as well. They're in the Merc. They're new to League 2 of the Infinity GT Manufacturers Series. See how they get on. Start the race now. Sorry to ramble on a bit, but you know, just clear a few things up, go through the cars, go through the grids, what to expect. Anyway, MLA getting us underway, so we're going to go from MLA's perspective. We're going to look back, we're going to look back, we're going to look back and see how he gets on getting off the grid, because the 86, well, me and Nath are in, isn't the best. So yeah, nice start there, but the one who's got the jump the most, I would say, is Sea Trickle in 4th. Now he's down to 5th, but they all get around okay. Looking back from MLA's point of view, heading uphill now, I mean, yeah, everyone's doing okay. 2 Lamborghinis side by side there. Sit back, relax, get some popcorn or whatever. We will be going through a 40-minute race. Anything can happen. I'll try not to miss any action anyway. I'm not feeling great today, a bit bunged up and that, a bit stressed. But, you know, is what it is. So then, here we go. MLA in the lead. We're not even halfway through lap number 1. P1 Valium in 2nd. James Harvin in 3rd. Infinity Decals Dave in 4th. Sea Trickle in that 5th. So Sea Trickle in the Nissan GTR with the Jaguar behind him. A Sonic Racer. Good exit there from that corner from Sea Trickle, to be honest with you. Sees that gap down the inside. Dave leaves a little bit of room. Sonic Racer Marshall in 7th, so Marshall's on the attack already. A little bit of contact there with Bazinga, nothing untoward. Marshall slightly on the ground. Let's have a look at that one more time, just so a little bit, you know, and then Rick, like, goes down the inside, like, hello boys, thank you very much for that room, I'm coming on through. But yeah, so far it's been quite interesting, to be honest with you. Who was that then? I think that was myself. I think I ran it a little bit. Yeah, I was battling with Nath. Nath was like, are you there? I was like, yeah, but I called it a little bit too late, so it's my own fault there. Bazinga, Rob, DMK, Gwyn, McDaddy, Duds to the rear. So head completing lap number 1 now is P1 Valium. He has actually took the lead. He took it actually prior to that. He's gone round the outside there of MLA, around that hairpin section, and he's going up the incline now. MLA behind, we've got the 2 Lamborghinis as well. It's a good mixture as well of the manufacturers in this league. Because FFs were banned, the front wheel drive cars were banned. But in all honesty, I think now, you know, Bop's been updated, and I think the FFs ain't as powerful as what they were previously to the update. I think they're, you know, the weight has hampered them a little bit, and I think they wouldn't have got on so well side-by-side action here with MLA and P1 Valium. I don't think the FFs would be that much different, and to be honest with you, I think the rear wheel and EMR would have done a lot better than the FF, but that's my point of view. And yeah, I don't think they're going on board with James Harbour now. It's all quite, you know, the top 4 breaking away now, but by them fighting each other, it's slowing them up, and it'll enable the guys to the rear, like Sonic Racer, to you know, close that gap. And he's bringing C-Trick along with him. Dave's into the grass. What's happened to Dave Day? Or loads of power on the exit of that corner, and got it a bit wrong, but kept it together, kept it on track. So yeah, he's still in that 4th, but that has lost him time to Sonic Racer and C-Trickle as well. C-Trickle in the mix, they're battling already for that 4th place. Then we got myself and Nave, my teammate behind me. So Nave there trying to cover me, protect me, but he's got the Mercedes and Bazinga looking to the inside. But the 286, the grip of the 286 is far more supreme than any other cars on track. That's what I found anyway, how quick we were and able to get up that grid and try and battle towards the front. Marshall there protecting himself from the likes of DMK Martin for that 11th and 10th, but Bazinga's there in the mix as well. Bazinga, he's been quiet at the minute. He's like, right, oh wow, wait, where did Gwyn come from? Let's go on board with Gwyn. Jeez, got his brake a little bit wrong here, and yeah, he sees so he sees a gap. You're thinking, right, you're leaving him a little bit of a gap, I'm going to go for that gap. But then at the end of that gap was a car, unfortunately a little bit of coming together, which has got some little, was it actually his actual Bazinga he hit into, so Bazinga there. But fair play to Gwyn, you know, he backed off that accelerator. He's like, nah, you know, that's wrong from me. So he gave that position back to Bazinga, and that has hampered Bazinga now. But here we go, we're going to go on board MLA, drop it downhill now to the final section of this track. The right, then the left. Try not to clip the wall on the outside of Blackjack corner. Almost there from Valium. You were so lucky there. MLA just biding his time behind P1 Valium. But you know, the Ferrari is good in some parts of this track, and the NSX was a lot better than the Ferrari. But the Lambo behind, we've got 2 Lambo boys, 4-wheel drive in the Lambo. I bet they wish it was raining, but it's not raining, it's nice and dry. And I'm pretty sure they were saying something about the tyre wear wasn't good on a 4-wheel drive either, or the grip levels or whatever. I can't remember. But James Harbour in that 4 behind his teammate C-Trickle, now falling down a little bit. Rick there looking to the inside there. C-Trickle gets that moved up very nice indeed. Myself, I'm in the mix as well. And I got Nate, my teammate. I let him go on by because I was slow out of that corner. Rather than fight my teammate, we work together and get further up. And this is what we were doing. We help each other out. And again, we're side by side. Nate just lets me go as I was a bit fast around that corner. So it's like, you know, a bit swapping here and there throughout the lap, just help each other out. But further back we go. We've got Marshall slowly catching us up. He's in that 9th position. The GTR is okay, but the rear end is very, very twitchy there. So 9th to 10th is gapped now. So 9th to 10th is gapped. So they've got their own little battle going on further back here. McDaddy in that Aston Martin with P1 Robin, Bazinga Gwyn and Sonic Racer. So we're going to come back to this in a minute because they'll be having their own little private battle. You can see McDaddy there looking to the rear of Dudley. He's going to look to the inside, is he? No, he is not. Ain't got that move done yet, but he's looking there to the inside as they head up the incline. When he get this move done, he shall not. But yeah, they're still battling away, and we've got, you know, these cars, anything can happen. One slight error, you'll get any of them coming through. Why have I gone on this camera? What's going on my thing? So, P1 Valium MLA again. MLA's in that slipstream of the NSX. He likes a tighter line to that corner. I had a tendency to swing it out wide and cut it in really tight, sort of like a late apex. But we still got 2 Lamborghinis behind, you know, and Rick is slowly making his way up. So James there, just again, you know, he's just sitting behind his teammate, just waiting for that opportunity. Rick, C-Trickle, myself, and Nave. C-Trickle got that corner a little bit wrong, so that enables me and Nave to go out further up, well, position, to be honest with you. So already, I was 11th. Nave, I think Nave was like 8th. So we're doing okay. It took like 4 laps to get up there. Fastest lap of the race so far is actually wow, it's Rick. 2:02.971 lap number 3. By now, this moment in time, a lot of people are saving the fuel, you know, just imagine them tyres on the racing medium, just trying to go for that long stint on the racing medium and then have the faster stint towards the end of the race. I'm battling there with Rick when I shouldn't battle with Rick, you know. I knew I was a bit quicker than Rick and it's just waiting, but I overused the tyres a little bit. They wore a little bit, and yeah, but Nate's just biding his time. He's just helping me along and he's protecting me from the likes of C-Trickle and Marshall behind. So the 2 teammates together, me and Nate together, got the 2 Lambos together. What's happened to Marshall there? Marshall got a little bit wrong as they head up the incline around the left-hander. Let's have a look at this from Marshall's point of view. In car with Marshall now. Yeah, it's all about that line, you see. It's all about getting the line for that corner. Even if you get it a little bit wrong like Marshall did there, it will just throw you out wide on the exit and into the barrier. It's a weird, the camera just sort of like says to you, no, go away, do it right. Yeah, it's an odd corner that. It doesn't like cars going around that corner. McDaddy in 11th position. 17 turns around Alsace Village, apparently 5 kilometers long. So 3.370 miles long. Fictional when I thought it was real life, but it's not. It's actually fictional. So Dave in the lead. Have I missed something here? Dave got that move done already. So Dave in the lead of the race. Maybe he could sense me and Dave slowly coming up. I mean, I'm there in 6th. I'm battling away with Rick down the inside there of Rick. Get that move done. Will Nate follow me through? He does indeed. So again, Nate is just following my car around. So whatever overtake I do, Nate is like, I'm going to pounce as well. So Nate is technically, you know, whatever, like I said, any overtakes I do, Nate's there when he was behind me. So he's seen that opportunity just to follow me through as well. And it was great, you know, it was great teamwork that night. You know, hats off to him. He's been a good teammate so far. It's been a lot of ups and downs throughout the season with different teammates and etc. Or, you know, people not carrying on. But yeah, I think me and Nate will be a good team this season. Just like Dave and James. And then you got Rick and MLA. Then you got Valium and Rob. And yeah, it's really enjoyable. So James Harbin there in that 3rd, P1 Valium in that 2nd. Dave's still in the lead. But we're going to get this up for a minute because let's have a look at their tyre wear. As you can tell on the racing medium, the Lambo is more heavier than the likes of the NSX. I mean, look at the 86. It's not a lot at all. It manages its tyres very well. Nath ran a little bit wide the exit of that corner, and I seen the gap increase. I was like, no, you know, so I slow up and just let him get my slipstream. But yeah, I'm in this group anyway, so he's going to catch up. Marshall being harassed now from McDaddy, so McDaddy in that 10th wants that 9th off of Marshall, but will he already? The Valiant pitted quite early, and I was quite surprised about this. So I thought, right, he's in the pits, he's going to go on the racing soft. With 10 minutes in, 5th lap, he's going to go on the racing soft, and then he's going to have major tyre wear come towards the end of the race, and we'll wait and see. We'll come back to Valium, and I mean, Valium's there, his teammates there, so his teammates just come around the final corner, sorry, the first corner, with Sonic the racer in 16th position. I felt that was a bit early from P1 Valium. He's got to think like 30 minutes on the racing soft. You've got to manage that as well. We've got the 2 Lambos, 1 and 2. I bet they were loving it. But we're still early into the race. MLA there doing his defending from me. I see that gap to the inside. Do I go for it? I can't quite remember. I don't. And again, you see what I mean? Nath is there all the time, you know. And it was good to see. I mean, he was following me. And yeah, he's doing a good job. It is driving for me, Nath. I'm not saying it because he's my teammate. I'm saying it because I've raced with him, you know, for a couple of seasons now. And I race with him in another league as well. His racing has upped. His racecraft has upped as well. And he's getting quicker and quicker every time. So yeah, myself in that 3rd. James in 2nd. Dave, the time gap between these two are, without pit stops, 3.3. As you can tell, the sector time, that is, you know, he's done the purple first sector, and he's actually the quickest in the first sector. The overall quickest lap is Dave at 2:02.067. So yeah, Dave has got the pace at the minute. But James Harben's coming under pressure now from me. So James Harben in the other Lamborghini, you can see me behind. Tyre wear again. James Harben in that Lambo is wearing quite high, and I think he went into the pits. He did as well. Now again, I felt that was a bit too early for James. Yeah, he had a bit more wear than the Toyota 86, but look at the 2 Nissan drivers. They're managing that. Marshall's a little bit higher than C Trickle. That's because Marshall's on the pad. Dodge in that 9th in the Mercedes. Bazinga in 10th. Martin there in the 11th, right on the rear bumper of Bazinga. James Harben come out in 12th. Gwyn in 13th. P1 Valium. See, that gap hasn't really closed between P1 Valium and James Harben. I would say that's increased, to be honest with you. So P1 Valium is there. James Harben is there, and you can see Valium just behind. So that gap has increased. Anyway. And yeah, some early pit stops, which I was quite surprised about. 2:02.067, 2:02.972. So yeah, Dave was pushing it. You can tell by his front left tyre wear. And he's actually on the racing soft. Interesting. So he's going to have a slower final stint unless he does the 3 laps, the out, the hot, the in. His call. But me and Nave, we can go longer. And I'm surprised about this as well, because Nath normally is a massive fuel saving and managing the tyre wear. So if we look, yeah, see what I mean about the fuel? He can save that fuel, but I'm managing the tyres better. So he's the best fuel saver. I'm managing the tyres all right. So we're equal there at the minute, Nath. So yeah, I got one over you at the minute. McDaddy there looking to the inside of M&A. Will he get this move? He's shown up. 15 minutes in, 25 minutes to go. League 2, interesting. Heading to round number 3, which would be Nürburgring. That would be the Group 3 cars. So we'll be getting the monsters out. And then the sprint qualifying again, the 15 minutes around Nürburgring. Tricky technical track. Not many overtaking places. So it's all about getting that track position. And I mean, you know, anything will go. Infinity Deckhouse, Dave. We're gonna. I don't know when he pits, but we're gonna do an onboard lap with Dave. Just a little view of the track, like I've done previously with MLA. We're gonna do it with Dave, but my daddy there's he's harassing the rear of MLA, and he's on the racing soft. MLA's on the racing medium, so like the two Toyotas there. So Dave has got gap now between me and him is 4.5. Let's have a quick look down. Let's see what's going on. Let's see how Marshall and C-Trick are getting on. C-Trick a little bit wide there, so he's going to have a dirt on the tyres. That will compromise him into that left-hander. Look at the camber in that corner. It's absolutely immense. James Harben in ninth. Where's Valium? Valium's now trying to get through traffic, and he's past Bazinga, so he's trying to close that gap between him and James, which is a 1.2 second gap. Valium, Bazinga's coming back at P1 Valium, and will Bazinga get that move done, because he's also bringing Dudge, who's in 12th along with him. DMK Martin, Gwyn, Rob, Sonic the Racer, and yeah, it's settling now. There's gap, so there's battles happening, but again we got pit stops. So when the pit stops happen, you know, someone might get the jump on that driver there with battling, or you know, it'll stay the same. But we'll wait and see. I don't know when Dave pits, but let's go on board with Dave. We're heading across the start timing line now, heading to the first turn, the right hairpin. He likes that tight line into that corner, and he's heading up this incline now. And yeah, there's me behind. Let's focus on Dave for a minute. So heading uphill now. So we're going to go up to turn number 3. Fast left-hander, then the heavy braking down to turn number 4. So to turn number 4, how does he do this? Late apex, turn number 4. Then we'll go up to 5, which is his left-hander again. So we're going up to 5, could be 6. You know, there's a little bit of kink in that. There's not really a kink here. So class this is 7 and 8. Let's go to 7, and if you look again, we've got the 8 coming up, which is just fast right little kink. We've got 8, and then we've got 9 and 10 into 1, so double apex left-hander. So we've got the 1 apex there, and then we've got the second apex on the exit. That's 11. This one here, there's around about, I think there's, so if we look at it, we've got 1 here, then we've got 2 at the end of this curve, then we've got 3, and then we got 4, and then we got 5. So look around about up to 13 now. Then we got 6 heavy braking, 7 and 8. So we're at that double there. So we're up to 14. And then 15 is this fast left-hander as we head uphill. Depending on how you take that line, you can run it off wide, as we've seen previously. And then we got 15 there. Sorry, 14 there. Sorry. But lost myself now. Kink don't really matter. 15. And we go 16. And we go 17. They class this as a corner. And then we head over to start timing now. He's into the pits. But that was a nice lap from Dave, actually. Didn't put a foot wrong going around. So I inherit the lead. My teammate as well. So we're staying out longer. But Rick was... I thought in my head, right, Rick, is he just following us around and see when we pit? Because Marshall's in the pits now, and you know Dave's in the pits. But in my heart, I was like, right, is Rick following what we do? I said to Nave, I think Rick's staying out, and he may pit with us. I recall saying that, but we got McDaddy coming on through as well. Dave didn't refuel, and I think Dave was trying to keep that gap between the two Toyotas and himself. He didn't refuel. All he done was change the tyres, because he's doing that minimum time on the mediums. So then when he pits again for the race and soft, he can put a bit of fuel in and then go to the end. Was that the right move? I don't think it was. Because personally, if you want to do the minimum laps on the racing medium, fuel up, do it, pit, so you don't have to fuel again, change tyres, and you do a lesser time in a pit stop, you see. But they're a team and they work it out between themselves. I'm just giving my point of view, what I would have done. Well, what we did actually do. 201.413 there from James Harman, the fastest lap. 19 minutes in, 20 minutes to go. See Trickle there, Bazinga, we've got Valium in night, so Valium, yeah, as I said to you previously, yeah, he's closing the gap to James, but again, he's got to back off, because not only has he got to manage the fuel, he's got to manage the tyres, and by him managing the tyres and the fuel, that's costing him time to the lead runners. It's effectively costing him the win of the race, or even a podium. DMK Martin there, we've got Duds, the two Mercs, 11th and 12th, so first time out in the League 2. Gwyn there in 14th, Marshall in 15th, so he's come out the pits, he's fueled up, and he's going to go to the end now. Sonic the Racer in that 16th position. So we pit now. I think Nave stayed out. So Nave stayed out, so we had a bit of a tactic going on here. Rick there stayed out as well, but Dave's coming on through on the race, but actually McDaddy. So McDaddy in the Aston Martin, getting the move done there onto Dave. They're side by side, heading uphill now. MLA in at 5th. MLA in 5th, so he's having a good race, but he's lost a bit of time now to the likes of Dave. So MLA really has got it all to do to close that gap, and slowly coming up as well as James. And P1 Valium there seems to have... Where's P1 Valium? Let's go to James. Where's P1? P1, yeah, P1 Valium's lost time because he's battling away with C Tricker there. P1 Valium battling away with C Tricker, which is effectively costing him time to James Harben. All this matters, you know. You don't want to be battling. You want to try and make your way through as quick as you can. So by you battling, look at this. We've got battling here. Let's go Marshall point of view. In car Marshall now. He's to the inside there of Gwyn. No, he isn't, because Gwyn gets the overspeed on the exit. He's looking to the outside of Martin there. Great position there. Gwyn there. Marshall looking to the inside. Will Marshall get that move done? No, he's still looking for that overtake. Marshall Duds is slowly coming up. No, a little bit of lag there from Gwyn actually. Yeah, Gwyn's lagging there slightly. You know, a slight glitch or anything like that can really put you off. You'd be quite surprised. Marshall, Gwyn, Duds, and unfortunately Sonic the Racer, I mean, he's sticking with it, and he's in 16th. At the front we go. Nath leading this race. I think he'll come into the pits now, but Dave is just behind him. So then, it's about who can get the overcut done, who can get the jump when Nath pits, or will Dave pit again? I think Dave stays out. Yeah, Dave stays out. I admit I underfueled, which I did, so I had to fuel save for like 4 laps. It was tricky, but I'd done it. So Dave inherits the lead, Rick in second, MLA in third, so 2 Ferraris second and third. McDaddy slowly making his way up. So I'm coming around that corner now, and Nave was like, hang on a minute, why have I come out in in ninth position? So he's lost a bit of ground, so he's got it all to do. But we're on the racing soft now, remember, so the quicker tyre in the quicker car, the hunt's on. The hunt's on for the podium or even the win. James Harben there looking for a way past MLA McDaddy. So James Harben in the Lamborghini. A little bit of a nudge there to the rear of McDaddy, but MLA still on the inside. See, when MLA defends, he likes keeping it really tight to the right, so he makes it difficult for you. But James Harben looking, but no, he's in his rights to defend MLA. But James Harben trying to go the long way around of MLA when he gets his smooth done, but he's bringing McDaddy with him. And James Harben there, but MLA may come back at him. MLA's there still, side by side, James Harben, but James Harben gets that move done. So MLA down to 4, but MLA's got the attention of McDaddy. So McDaddy in the Aston Martin in 5th, looking to the rear of MLA and James Harben. So, you know, he's on the racing soft. He's going quite long on the racing soft. He do his final stint on the racing medium. C Trickle there in 6th, myself in 7th, Nathan 8th now. So he's slowly making his way up. Bazinga, Rob. Ain't really been on board with Rob, but let's go on board with Rob for a couple of seconds. He had a better race this time out. Last week he struggled quite a bit. But yeah, he's having a good race. Marshall in 11th. I mean, doing an endurance on the pad, it must be difficult with your fingers and and whatnot. But Marshall there doing a good job in 11th. Valium on the racing soft, so he's pitted again. So he's done 2 pit stops. That's effectively cost him like a podium position because he's way back now. So Dave in the lead down the racing medium. James Harben, McDaddy, myself, see Trickle, Nath, Rob. Yeah, it's settling now. It's settling. The gaps are appearing. Bazinga. So Valium will be promoted up a few positions. Where is he? Where's P1 Valium? So he's in 10th actually. Yeah, he's in 10th. He's behind Rick. So I mean the time gap between 10th and 1st. Jeez. What are you looking at? You're looking at least 19 seconds. If not a little bit more. About 19 seconds to the leader. Doable, but he's going to have to do some qualification laps to close that gap. MLA in 11th, come out in 11th. Martin there in 12th, battling with Bazinga 12th and 13th. Can Bazinga get this move done over Martin? Sonic Racer now up to 14th. Duds in that 15th. And Gwyn now in last position. 10 minutes to go, well just over 10 minutes, say about 13 minutes to go. We've got the 2 Lamborghinis, 1 and 2, how they were at the start of the race. Myself in 4th, C-Trickle in 5th, Nath in 6th. Nath's pushing it now. As you can see, I under fueled. So at this point now, I was actually saving fuel just to try and get to the end. Didn't look like it on the screen, but I was technically on lean 3. That's how much I under fuel, so I could rev it out and save fuel at the same time. And I even switched it up to 4 every now and again. McDaddy, James Harben in the pits now. McDaddy going into the pits. So they've gone quite far. They go on the racing medium now. And the time gap between me and Dave, 10.5. But I knew anyway. I had to, because I knew Dave short fueled. He didn't fuel up. He just put the tyres on and came back out. So I knew anyway that I was going to get a jump on him and I'll lead the race. But then Dave will go on the racing soft because he's trying to eke up that gap. So when he pits and comes out, it won't be so much. But again, I was saving fuel. I underfueled. As you can tell by the gauge, we've got 12 minutes to go. And that's how it was, you know. Nath there looking to the rear. C-Trickle's got his indicator on. I don't know if he's telling Nath just to overtake or he's going to stay to the inside. But Nath is looking for that move on to C-Trickle. And when he get the cut back, he does indeed. C-Trickle runs it a little bit wide on the exit. Nath there looking to the inside of C-Trickle. Will he hang it around the inside? The grip level of the 86, you can do it. He's on the racing soft. Yeah, he's around the outside there of C-Trickle. Nice move there from Nath. So he's promoted up to the final podium spot. So 2 Toyotas, 2 and 3 at the minute. It all depends on when this gentleman pits. So let's have a quick recap. Infinity Decals, been at the front for a while now. He runs it wide on the exit again. It's about getting that corner right. Myself, you know, had a few battles. Nath as well. C-Trickle done a good job, get up to 4th. Marshall up to 5th. So Marshall's doing very well. Rick as well. Rick has had a few battles like P1. So P1 Valium, by him pitching again, he's doing all right. And there's the Lamborghini of James Harben. And I think these two will have a battle going into the final few corners. P1 Valium, they're still in the inside. James Harben looking to go around the outside. A little bit of contact there. Will P1 Valium look for the switchback onto James Harben? No, he does not. So P1 Valium, but he's looking again. He's looking to the inside there of James Harben at the first corner. He's faster out of that corner. James Harben's a little bit slower. James Harben looking for the switchback onto P1 Valium, and P1 Valium, James Harben battling that up hill now. And we've got MLA and we have got Rick and Marshall battling it out. Looking back, James Harben, P1 Valium battling it out. James is looking just to pull away and to get the overtake done onto Rick. But Rick is being You know, he's closed up by to Marshall, but he's trying to find his way through to Marshall. But no, James looking to the inside. James there's James in the Lambo Dambo looking to the inside of Rick. And will he get this move done, or will Rick hang it around the outside? Rick is hanging it around the outside, but James is still there. James isn't giving up. He's trying to go on through, and all the while he's got P1 Valium going to the inside. So again, that will slow James up. And yeah, James has lost the position. So this is to and fro now. It's costing James all the while, and Valium and Rick. Marshall is benefiting from this, and Marshall in that fifth side. Yeah, you lot carry on. I'm fine in fifth position. Let's wait and see. Let's see how he gets on. See Trickle in that fourth. Infinity Decals now chasing down my teammate Nathan second. And again, I'm still fuel saving. Yeah, it's still fuel saving. Let's focus on this, because this battle was intense back here, and it's still going on. Let's go from James's perspective. We're going to go from James' perspective. In car with James. Marshall now down to sixth for Rick. Rick in fifth now. Marshall missed that apex. Can James get two for the price of one? Oh, Marshall! He hit into that barrier, and that slowed him up a little bit. And James hit into the rear, but Marshall was going into the pit, so that's very unfortunate there. A little bit coming together, but you know, Marshall was pitting anyway, so nothing on toward. Now James has got it all to do to focus to close that gap to P1 Valium and Rick, because Rick now has got his foot down and extending that gap in fourth position. Infinity Decals Dave trying to close that gap to my teammate. That is a 2.1. I'm 6.9 up the road, so I'm quite comfortable. As I said, I'm saving fuel, as you can tell. I'm actually short shifting it now because I didn't have enough to get to the end. That's an honest truth. So yeah, Nath, Infinity Decals in third. So the top three of GAP really better get. Here we are again, round number 5. We got James Harburn. We got Rick, and we got P1 Valium. Will James Harburn go down the inside? He could have, if he had the confidence to go down the inside, but he thought better of it. Maybe that's what he was waiting for an error from P1 Valium. And now James Harburn hands it around the outside, around the banking section. And yeah, James Harburn up to 5th. Now he's going to try and hunt down Rick, who's in that 4th position. Let's go in car with James for a minute. So James got to jump onto P1 Valium only because P1 Valium ran it a bit wide. Now can James close up to Rick? This is the thing. Let's come back to this in a minute. MLA in 7th, so he's lost a bit of ground now on the racing soft. McDaddy in 8th, Marshall in 9th. You know, he pitted again on the racing soft, maybe to go for that fastest lap time and, you know, get the extra point for it. See Trickle in 10th, Bazinga in 11th. So these two have got their own little battle at the minute. See Trickle and Bazinga. See Trickle still got that indicator on in that car. He's like, yeah, you go around the right. Not. I send around the long way. The left. Bazinga, what's he? Bazinga's trying something here. Slowing faster out, maybe. Yeah, he doesn't get that done. Sonic the Racer. P1 Rob looking for an overtake on Sonic the Racer. Will he get this move done? No, he doesn't. Gwyn? Yeah, it gets a bit boring when you're on your own. He's in 14th. He's got no one around him to battle with, but behind him he's got the two teammates battling it out in the Mercedes. And yeah, you know, it's a bit quiet to the rear. The time gap between me and Nath was a 3.7 second gap. So we just got over 5 minutes to go, around about 3 laps to go. But then Nath is being caught by Dave in that Lamborghini. There's Nath, and he can probably see the gap dropping between myself and him. It's because I was saving fuel. With the last 2 laps is when I floored it and just extended that gap. Dave fastest lap, a 2:05 5:87, lap number 16. Rick now being caught by James Harburn there. in that 5th position. James Harden to the rear. Again, it's all about perfecting this corner out wide, you see, and then clip that and uphill. And yeah, very nice. James there had a better entry and exit at that corner, so they're heading to the final few corners of this lap. There's a James Harden now. Can he get this move done? Maybe to turn number 1 to the inside, or will Rick defend for his life to keep that 4th position? Almost again into that barrier. It's like an invisible wall in that blackjack barrier. So will James Harden get the better exit than Rick? Almost identical from the both of them, but then James is in that slipstream and he's just trying to close that gap. And yeah, Rick's doing a good job. But look behind. Look who we got behind. P1 Valium is slowly, 10th by 10th, closing that gap to the rear of James Harden, a 2.6. We'll keep an eye on that, actually. We'll keep an eye on that 2.6 second gap. MLA and McDaddy and Marshall banner out. So Marshall and McDaddy having their own little battle. So Marshall down the inside. Where's McDaddy gone? Oh, got that corner all wrong. So Marshall now promoted up to 8th position. And McDaddy down to 9th. C Trickle in 10th. Bazinga in 11th. Sonic Racer in 12th. Battling away with P1 Rob. P1 Rob there in that 13th position. Looking for the move on to Sonic Racer. And will he dive down the inside, or will he hang it around the outside? We'll wait and see. We'll stay like this for a minute. Hello Sonic Racer. He's looking for that switchback maybe. Almost. Sparkle on the rear. Sparkle Sheffield. Infinity Decals. We are driven. It's okay not to be okay. And so on and so on. Look, check them out all on social media and on the Google as well. The goggle, yes. Check them out on the goggle. So then, not long to go now. The gap is 4.2, so I extend it a little bit. Now, this is where it's at. Nave has got to defend, because I didn't really want Dave catching me, because I was saving fuel. And Dave was defending. Nave was defending from Dave, just to try to protect me, to cover me. And again, there's me just up the road. You see what I mean? Nave is taking that inside line. So Nave with that inside line is doing a very, very good job from holding off the Lambo. But the Lambo with the better. Oh, and he's looking a little bit of nudge there. Wow, let's have a look at that. From Dave's point, he's seen a little bit of a gap to the inside. He's like, right, I'm going to go this way. But Nate's tried to cover it, so Nate went to go left, and yeah, Dave's already there, so that wasn't possible. But Nate won't give up so easily, and he's still hanging around the outside. They're nudging the rear quarter panel of Dave's car. But yeah, unfortunately now Nate has lost that position, but he's going to try and keep with Dave, just to keep him under pressure a little bit, so it keeps him away from me. We're heading on to the final lap soon, but yeah, these two are battling it out, Dave and Nave. So Nave there, trying to get his position back off of Dave, and he's looking for it. There's me just up ahead. Will Nave jink to the inside maybe? Down this left-hander, you can do it. No, he doesn't. If that was me, I would try to come for it, to be honest with you. But Nave's still pressuring him. Dave can see me up ahead, so Dave's concentrating on me and forgetting about Nate behind. That's what happens when you close into the leader, but you forget there's a car behind. James Harden, a bit too far away to help out his teammate Dave. So yeah, James Harden, he's a 6.4, so that's quite large. Rick P1 Valium on his own, trying to close that gap to Rick. But again, look at his fuel. He's going to do one more lap on that fuel. Marshall in 7th, MLA in 8th, McDaddy in 9th, C Trickle in 10th, Bazinga in 11th, Rob in 12th, Sonic Racer 13th, Martin then 14th, Gwyn in 15th, Dodge to the rear in 16th position. Head on to the final lap now, not too far to go. Now it was for me just to extend that gap now, so I thought, right, I've got enough fuel, and as you see, it's gone up by like 1.5 seconds, so it's up to 4.6. Wasn't too far off the fastest lap. I mean, it was like 200ths of a second between me and Dave for that fastest lap. 2 minute 589, 2 minute 587. And actually, Nave's a 201072. So yeah, me and Dave are the fastest car on track that evening. But yeah, and again, Nave's doing a good job just pressuring Dave, you know, just giving that pressure just to make his presence known to Dave, right, I'm here, you can leave idle alone. And I thought now, right, push it, which I did, 4.8. So let's go down. Myself leading, Dave in second, had a phenomenal race, really good race. Nath as well, Nath likewise, great teamwork as well that evening. James up to fourth, had to battle his way through, but he done it in the end, but he's brought Rick along. I think P1 Valium, I think strategy hampered him a little bit. He's in sixth. Marshall having a good race in seventh. MLA lost a few positions now. He's fallen down when he was up there in eighth. C Trickle in ninth. He's had a quiet race, but he's had a few battles. Bazinga as well, been in battles towards the rear. McDaddy as well, been up the top end trying to battle Peel and Rob Sonic Racer. Martin and Gwyn and Duz are the first to finish, 14th, 15th, 16th. At the front we go, so we haven't got too far to go of this race at all. I'm heading around the final corners of these laps, but let's concentrate on this in a minute. I can see me anyway, so I can go up to that in a minute. And again, Nate's trying to get that 1 and 2 for Team Toyota. But will he get this position off of Dave? That's the thing. Because the gap's settled now. I've extended it. Dave's realised that, so he's backed off. Well, not backed off actually. He's trying to defend from Nate Bennett. But yeah, I take the win of the race. First win for the team. I'm sure there will be a few more to come. So there I am in first position. Dave there. Great race from Dave and Nate. Second and third. Nate there in third. James Harbin, great battle. He made his way through in the end. James Harbin there in fourth with Rick there in fifth position. P1 Valium got up there in the end in sixth, but he done a couple of pit stops which I think hampered him a little bit. Marshall, great race. MLA in eighth. We've got C Trickle in ninth. Bazinga now coming around in that 10th position. To Bazinga. And Rob in 11th. Sonic Racer in 13th, and it would be Matt Daddy in that, Sonic Racer 12th and Matt Daddy in that 13th. Check out round number 3. That replay will be out when the race is done, probably a few days after or 5 days after. But please like, subscribe, leave a comment if you wish. But that was round number 2 completed. See you at the ring, boys. See you at the ring. Anyway, that's it. The race is done. I'll speak to you. Well, you hear from me soon. Take care. Thank you. Bye bye.